When love turns lethal. Sophie and Daniel were the kind of couple people envied, hands clasped in public, stolen kisses in grocery aisles, and anniversary posts filled with flowery captions. But beneath the smiles and matching sweaters, their love had begun to rot. Daniel's charm, once magnetic, had turned into control. He questioned Sophie's every move, scrolled through her phone when she wasn't looking, and insisted that no one could love her the way he did. Sophie tried to ignore the warning signs, telling herself it was just passion. One rainy night, Daniel surprised her with a candlelit dinner at home. The table was set for two, with her favorite wine breathing in the decanter. He smiled across the table, but his eyes were sharp, watching her every gesture. "I know," he said suddenly. Sophie froze, her fork hovering over her plate. "Know what?" "About him." Her stomach dropped. She had been texting an old friend, nothing more, but Daniel had decided otherwise. "I love you, Sophie," he said, his voice trembling. "But if I can't have you," his hand tightened around the steak knife. Fear surged through her. She reached for the wine, pretending to sip, trying to think. Then she remembered earlier that week, she'd bought a small bottle of sleeping pills to help her insomnia. They were in her purse, just behind her chair. While Daniel stepped into the kitchen to fetch dessert, Sophie acted quickly, crushing the pills into his wine glass. By the time he returned, she was smiling. "To us," she said, raising her glass. He drank without hesitation. Minutes later, his words began to slur, his body swaying. "What did you? You said you'd never let me go," Sophie whispered, "so I'm making sure you can't." He collapsed to the floor, gasping for air. She knelt beside him, stroking his hair as the light faded from his eyes. "I did love you, Daniel, but love shouldn't feel like a cage." When it was over, she placed the steak knife in his hand, tipped over his chair, and poured the rest of the wine onto the floor. By the time the police arrived, she was weeping, telling him about the fight, the threats, the way he came at her with the knife. They called it self-defense. In the weeks that followed, Sophie smiled politely when people offered condolences. But every time she passed the wine aisle at the store, she felt a strange, lingering warmth. She had finally tasted freedom, and it was intoxicating.